27 members of the European Union have approved Britain's plan to leave the EU, but will the plan pass in Britain itself? That's the first topic we're tackling today on CNN 10. I'm Carl Azus. It's great to see you. The Brexit, the British exit from the European Union, was decided by British voters in the summer of 2016. But if you look at the calendar, you get a sense of how complicated the process is. The European Union is a political and economic partnership of dozens of countries. It was established in 1993. Two major reasons why Britons voted to leave it 23 years later: they wanted their country to set its own rules on issues like immigration and international business and not be governed by those of the broader European Union. British Prime Minister Theresa May has been working with other European leaders to come up with a plan for how Britain will leave the EU. They've done that. Borders, trade, international cooperation are all part of it. But while the European Union has approved Britain's Brexit plan, the United Kingdom's Parliament needs to do that too. And there are multiple critics of the plan inside Britain, including people on both sides of the country's vote to leave the EU. Beyond Europe, U.S. President Donald Trump has also voiced concerns about Britain's ability to trade with America based on how the deal stands now. British Prime Minister May says her country and the U.S. have already started discussions on how that will work. She also says there is not a better deal available for her country. December 11th is the date when Britain's Parliament will have what it calls a meaningful vote on the Brexit deal. Brexit isn't the only thing keeping Britain's Parliament busy. Some of its members are also participating in an investigation concerning Facebook and disinformation, fake or misleading information. Yesterday, lawmakers from the UK and 8 other countries attended an event called the International Grand Committee on Disinformation. It was held 3 weeks after a British government report came out that accused Facebook of not doing enough to keep its users' personal information safe. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg was invited, but he didn't attend the hearing. Instead, a vice president of public policy for Facebook, who's also a member of Parliament's House of Lords, was asked questions about Facebook concerning security. As Facebook grapples with scrutiny in Europe, it's part of a tech company effort to connect with hundreds of millions in India.
By 2024, 1 out of every 5 people on the planet will live in India. India is already the world's largest democracy and fastest growing major economy. But right now, fewer than 40% of its 1.3 billion people have access to the internet. For companies like Google, Amazon and Facebook, that's a problem, one that they're spending billions to fix.
If you really have a mission of connecting every person in the world, you can't do that without helping to connect everyone in India.
As Google, we are extremely committed to India. Our mission in India is internet for every Indian.
The battle to bring the internet to India is on. At stake, nearly 1 billion new users, and perhaps even more importantly, a leg up on the future of the internet everywhere. In 2018, Walmart acquired Indian online retailer Flipkart for $16 billion. And in a recent sale event, Amazon sold more than 1 million phones in just a single day. Yet even with those huge numbers, e-commerce only accounts for roughly 2.5% of India's retail sales. For big tech companies like Google, that presents an immense opportunity for growth.
We decided to put high-speed free public Wi-Fi in India's railway stations. We're in 400 stations today. Through the course of that, we built a product called Google Station. Now that Google Station is now actually going to other emerging markets where affordable access is a constraint, right? Africa, Southeast Asia, and so on and so forth.
The more people that use Google, the stronger Google gets. It's in the business of collecting data to sell ads, and India alone could offer Google 2 times more data than all of North America.
One of the things which I'm really excited by is giving everyone in India one day the chance to carry a smartphone with full connectivity.
Facebook sees an equally big opportunity.
India is a very, very big priority for us company-wide. We do want India to play a very important role in global digital trade.
But there are also challenges. Many apps aren't written in Indian languages. And though mobile data is extraordinarily cheap, smartphones are still way too expensive for many Indians to afford.
Pricing is everything. Tomorrow morning, if I could wake up and had one wish for the Indian internet, I would say it would be a much more affordable quality smartphone, right? And if we could do that, then I think literally overnight we could double the user base in India.
The biggest challenge, though, might be the Indian government. Officials there have watched data breaches and privacy debates play out in other parts of the world.
That includes the basic responsibility of protecting people's information, which we failed to do with Cambridge Analytica.
And they're taking a hard line. Regulators have blocked Google's plans for Street View mapping and even prevented Facebook from using the promise of free internet to push its app. Now, new regulation could restrict how tech companies can gather information from Indian users.
I think India needs a balance between privacy and innovativeness, and you can't keep data locked up, but you need innovation to take place. So the right balance needs to be struck, and probably India will find the right balance.
A lot of the people who are coming online in the next phase of growth are going to be first-time internet users, and therefore our ability to make sure that people have the tools to understand what are safe internet practices is going to be a very important area of work, both for us as a company, but also for the community to embrace.
We have to build policies that take care of this country's assets and resources and still welcome a ton of money from outside.
As millions of Indians come online, regulators and tech companies have the benefit of hindsight. How would the internet of today be different if we knew in the 90s what we know now? Could we do a better job with privacy, equal access, protection, and free speech? India is not only a staggering economic opportunity, it's also a second chance at making the internet better for everyone, everywhere.
NASA is involved in about 8 active missions to Mars. The latest centers on a lander named InSight. It's about the size of a 1960s convertible, according to NASA, but unlike one of those or the 3 rovers on Mars, InSight won't actually go anywhere during its 2-year, $850 million mission. Jeannie Mose explains what it will do.
You think your flight was long? It took InSight almost 7 months to get to Mars. At least your landing didn't require a heat shield to withstand 3,000-degree temperatures and a supersonic parachute. To slow down, the lander had to stretch its legs. No wonder the folks at NASA cheered every successful step.
The radar has locked on the ground.
Yes. And watch parties turned into nail biters.
37 meters. 17 meters, standing by for touchdown.
Every time she made a call out, the hairs on the back of my neck would start rising a little bit higher.
Touchdown confirmed.
There were epic handshakes, high fives, fist bumps, and hugs. Mission leaders raised their hands in jubilation. Museum goers cheered.
Touchdown confirmed.
While a drenched audience watching on a giant screen in Times Square faced conditions only slightly more hospitable than Mars. Within minutes of landing came the first image.
They got it. Oh, there it is.
There what is? Termites on a desert? Microbes under a microscope? Actually, that's Mars dust on the dust cover.
And there's the horizon back there, the bluish sky.
When it comes to picking a parking spot on Mars, think flat. Like Kansas without the corn is how NASA described the landing zone. The mission is designed to explore the interior of Mars. A probe will burrow 16 feet deep to take the planet's temperature. A seismometer will look for Mars quakes. NASA's administrator estimated the U.S. won't land a human on Mars till the mid-2030s, though some expected to see Matt Damon step out of InSight's lander.
But I'm still alive.
So is the lander. The day began with fingers crossed and ended with a line of high fives and a handshake worthy of an NFL touchdown.
So a spirited reaction to InSight's landing. Scientists and mavens were excited about the opportunity to express another reconnaissance laboratory to the Red Planet, add to their curiosity about it, and continue on their Mars Odyssey. It's not every day you see people so excited when a mission gets on the ground. I'm Carl Azus for CNN.